don't ask anybody's question but yours. 'Cause you're an idiot. And really a disloyal person.
Well, like most Syracuse Duke sellouts, it ended in a Duke win.
Yeah, about that.
Welcome to the Disloyal Idiots podcast, everyone. I didn't say that last week because I forgot to welcome everyone to the podcast last week just because of what happened last week. This week, a little bit more manageable for other reasons. Christian Guzman here, alongside Steve Haller. Andy Pregler is not with us because he has to, celebrate an anniversary or whatever.
Yeah, minor details. Also, congrats to Pregler.
Yeah, happy anniversary to Andy and his wife as they obviously spend the day together. Steve and I will do our favorite thing, which is say what just happened a lot of times.
Yeah, and I don't know. For anyone who has seen any of the internet discourse on what's going on about this game,
oh boy,
I feel like Christian are probably here to tell you, don't listen to people. Like, things are, for one, the sky isn't falling. For two,
oh, that's what wasn't falling on my head this morning.
Right, and we lost a football game, and right now we're 3-2 when we thought we would be 3-2. And I mean, yeah, would I much rather have beat Duke? Would I much rather have looked better than we did in a 38-3 loss? Yes. Was Ricky Collins the major problem in this? No.
Do you know what supports your argument? Our friends at Pro Football Focus.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Guess
I'm
Ricky's
not
grade.
insane. I like this.
Guess Ricky's grade. And we will
From what I
use the
saw, and
Mendoza.
I have not rewatched this.
Yeah.
This is
we will
me.
use the Mendoza line as his over/under. So, for anyone who doesn't know, PFF, if you play no snaps and play one snap and don't do anything or whatever, you get a 60 for your grade out of 100. So, based on the baseline of 60, what's Ricky's grade?
I would put him firmly above the Mendoza line, and probably in the mid-70s.
An 81.7 is the highest grade among starters. It's the second highest grade on the offense behind Emmanuel Ross, who had an 87.7.
Which,
yes,
welcome back.
And yes, that 81.7 is Ricky's grade.
Yeah. Were there a lot of things that he could have done better? Yes. Did he play a perfect game? No, in no way, shape, or form. Was he the problem? No. When you are running for your life, we've seen this before multiple times with many different quarterbacks. When you're running for your life the entire game, you have trouble throwing the ball and throwing the ball accurately.
Hey, Darian Mensah had a 74.
Okay. I mean,
yeah, maybe a lot of that is a lot based on the last couple of drives when obviously Duke put in the backups.
Right.
But at the same time, not all of that's Ricky's fault.
No, I think for one, people already forget 4 weeks ago when Steve Angeli had his first start against a Tennessee team that rattled him and had him looking relatively shaky for a good chunk of the game. And then, lo and behold, he turned into the nation's leading passer. Do I think Ricky is going to do that? I don't know. But this is this kid's first start. This is his first major time at this level against a Manny Diaz coach squad that found ways to put them in precarious positions. And do I think with this coaching staff having past be precedent that they will shore up a lot of those compromising positions that they found themselves in this week moving forward? Yeah, I think so.
And let's not forget what Manny Diaz's calling card is. Prior to the game, yes, Duke in pass coverage didn't look good. But Manny Diaz made his bread and butter as a defensive coordinator, and a pretty good one at that.
Yeah.
And so what did Duke well What did Duke do well in that game to stop Syracuse's offense? Coverage wise, maybe not so much. We didn't see Ricky really air it out too many times. The couple times he did, it didn't look great. But on the plays where he went to the safe options and whatnot, what did Syracuse not do? They didn't tackle. What did Duke do? They tackled.
In all honesty, if the open field tackling for Duke is like any of the other games we've seen this year, Syracuse is probably tied up going into the third. They're probably, this is probably a close game late in the game. Duke
Duke's
had
team-
numerous open field tackles that were insanely beneficial. They played very, very well in the open field.
Duke's team tackling grade was an 84.5. That is 19 points higher than any of their tackling grades on the season.
Yeah. And it was, they were positioned well. They were in the right spots. They played well.
And to Syracuse's credit also, their team tackling grade was a 76.5.
Yeah.
That was a complete Duke effort. And not so much so that, yes, we're sounding a lot like the Tennessee game, but
But
no,
this is the Tennessee game.
yeah.
We are starting again from square one. We have Nixon learning what Ricky will do and what Ricky will do in a game situation because, again, people, what you do in a game situation may not be the same way you practice. And Ricky has practiced in this regime for a long time. When you're on film in a game, things are different. And this will allow Nixon and the offensive staff to figure out how to craft a game plan around what Ricky will do under pressure and do in a game.
And even though he was named the starter in the spring, Steve, you can speak from this experience, I doubt you're doing much install in the spring.
No. I mean, you're running through your basics, you're running through whatever, but you don't, at that point, you still don't know who your full squad is. Yes, you have a depth chart, but especially nowadays, you have a depth chart, but you know that you have a full transfer window. Well, did have a full transfer window that can affect what's going on. You're not going to put all your eggs in the basket of having to reinstall an offense 4 times a year.
It's got a great question in the chat from Sean. Why did they not run the ball more? Fran did bring this up. He said that, especially with Yassine, they should have ran the ball more. Especially you saw it towards, and maybe there might have been some injury with it. I will say there were a couple times I saw Yassine coming to the sideline, especially in the second half, and work something out in his right shoulder, really favoring that right arm a lot during the game. Maybe that's why Yassine didn't get as much run with the ball, because he might have been, working through an injury. But at the same time, what the other aspect of that, and I didn't.
You're going where I think.
Yeah. I think you know where I'm going with this as well. The other aspect with this is, yes, Ricky is a passing quarterback. That's what everyone says. Everyone loves his arm in the program. But what a lot of people assumed about Ricky was that he was more of a dual threat than he was a pocket passer. Even so, even if he is more of a pocket passer, Ricky has considerably better legs than Steve Angeli in terms of the run game.
Right.
So why didn't you use that more often?
That was the part that confused me slightly more than the why do you not run the ball? I part of me gets that because have you seen, for one, you didn't go where I thought you were going to go.
Oh, really? Okay.
The left side of the line, I just pulled up their run block grades because I remember them being very not good at things. The left side of the line, for one, Demetrius Weatherspoon was the only offensive lineman with a Collins did too, but with a run block above the Mendoza line.
I mean, technically Byron Washington also, but he was only in for eight series, and those were probably all towards the end of the game.
Bertrand was above too, but
yeah.
Trevion Mack had a 42.8 run block grade.
It's not ideal.
No, and even in the past, there were numerous times, and I'm mildly surprised that Spoon is at a 75.7, there were and it may have been the only times that I saw him get completely burnt was the times he got completely burnt. There's a couple things. Ricky needs to settle more up into the pocket. If you remember Angeli over the last couple of weeks, he would drop and then he would settle up. Both the tackles were basically sending people like flying upfield. Ricky would continue to drop and peel and run right into somebody or immediately see pressure from somebody. There's going to be a lot of coordination between the line and Collins and everything that's going on. And yeah, it's just going to be a work in progress. Like, we all knew this wasn't going to be a, barn burner 10-win season. Or let me rephrase that. Anyone who had a shred of sanity going into this year after looking at that schedule knew that.
What's sanity?
Sanity and nuance are two things that are both lost on many, many people. But the reality is, like, we can use this, especially with the, with the personnel we have, as a really, really good learning and development year. If we can squeak through to a bowl and have 15 extra practices and another game to get some of the young kids blooded, next year is a whole different ballgame. Back to the running the ball thing. I don't know if you guys have seen this receiving core that we have. They're still really, really good at what they do. So I get wanting to run the ball more, but at the same time, taking the ball out of the hands of your most talented group on the offense also seems like it might be I don't want to say a bad idea, but a less than optimal idea.
So here's where I'll only slightly push back on that.
Okay.
And only slightly. We've seen this receiver group do great things, and we saw a couple of them. But until Collins gets more comfortable and we actually see the big arm that he's been hyped to have.
Yeah. Well,
more
he did throw better outs than I saw Angeli throw all year. Like, those sideline passes were leaps and bounds above anything we'd seen.
Yeah, but even then, most of those outs were before the line to gain.
Right.
So those are short passes.
Mm-hmm.
What are these receivers great at?
Not the short. Well, they're good at the short passes, but getting air under the ball and getting out and running a track meet.
And so until Collins gets a lot more comfortable with that,
yeah,
you have to kind of adjust a bit more to those short passes, the 10-yard slants that Angeli was really good at.
Yeah,
that were quick and fast.
And on the same time with that, the same thing with Angeli week 1. The time that Collins held the ball before it got into a receiver's hands was very akin to what we saw from Angeli week 1.
Like the time it takes to finish Seabass to finish a hot dog is the same amount of time that Collins held onto the ball.
Roughly, yeah. But by week 2, when some of that game speed, I don't want to. Well, I guess like the familiarity with the receivers at game speed, he was able to anticipate much more where these kids were going to be, where all of his guys were, any of that sort of thing. So I don't, at this point, there's no reason to think the sky is falling. If we see zero change next week and we see zero improvement next week, then we can start having a very different conversation.
What I will, and I will also push back on this a little bit, is I don't think we really need to make that big of a declaration until after the Pitt game.
Yeah. Because
I think the Pitt game is your real litmus test. Because
do we beat by week U?
That's the big thing.
It's been a tough battle these last couple years.
Exactly. So, like, yes, do you want to see improvement from Syracuse next week? Yes. But you're going up against an SMU team, while maybe not at the heights they were last year, is still a pretty good program, and that's on the road. So to necessarily think that you're going to see massive improvements like you did from Syracuse from Tennessee to UConn, it's not the same thing because you're not facing the same level of opponent either as well. When you're going up against Pitt, I feel like that's a better indication of where Syracuse may or may not be, because then at that point you would have Collins in as the starter for 3 weeks. Or at that point 4 weeks most likely. He will have actually the connection somewhat built enough to understand what everyone wants to do, and the same thing with his coaches about what he wants to do and what not. And so if that either has Nixon adjust the playbook, if it says, hey, Ricky, this is actually the playbook we want you to run, please do this, that's 3 more weeks to do that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Ricky admitted himself in, player, pressers, like he hasn't been throwing to Jonte and to Justice Ross Simmons and to Daryl Gill. Steve's been doing that. He hasn't been doing that in practice for the past month. And so he still needs time to, work with them.
Yeah, and we'll see how it develops as it comes. Like, that's the only thing we can do at this point. And I think, again, with past as precedent, what we've seen out of this coaching staff is they will find a way to adjust. It may take 1 week, it may take more than 1 week to get where they need to be, but I have confidence that they're going to figure out what they need to do with the personnel they have.
I'm doing a scary thing right now. I'm pulling up Cuse.com on my computer.
Oh, you know what else is a scary thing? Did you see Cam Pringle's pass block grade?
I did. It's quite unfortunate.
It's probably the 3rd worst we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So he was in for 14 snaps, 10 of which were pass blocking. On those 10 plays, 18.4, folks. 18.4. Not ideal.
I mean, let's go through actually what Ricky's stats were.
All right.
24 for 37, 229 yards, one interception, 1 sack. No touchdowns, but
Yeah.
that's not the worst line in the world from a quarterback. That goes to a 65 pass completion percentage.
Yeah.
Which you will take.
100%. I guess, I don't know. Do we talk about the turning point in this game?
We have to. It was massive.
Because I was sitting next to a very, very confused Duke fan when that all happened. So
In the press box, I said probably no targeting, but definitely no fumble.
right, and watching it on the jumbotron, the Duke fan sitting next to me, a good friend of mine, was like, "Oh, there's he's gone, and it's a fumble." Like, I could see if they didn't send him, but that's definitely not a fumble.
Yeah.
And then the opposite of anything anyone thought happened.
Yeah. So obviously, Fran got asked about it, and he said he has seen previously that yes, even though the review was for targeting, he's seen other things get changed.
Yeah.
In the call before in the review. So he said that's not surprising to him that was a possibility that could happen.
Right.
Yeah. Whether you agree. So, I mean, so you can't take that away from the refs, I think, in terms of reviewing the fumble.
Right.
I don't think you can do that. You
I
can argue.
I can take issue with the fact that I don't believe it was a fumble.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you can't argue that they brought that, because once the play is in review, the play is in review. And each sport does this differently. I believe with some iterations of VAR, you have a call that was made and you are looking for a specific thing. And if you don't find the specific thing, you cannot change it. When a play is under review, a play is under review. And if something else happened before the ball is dead, then something else did happen.
Yes. And we've seen already this weekend that targeting calls are interesting. See Penn State, Oregon.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. Obviously, talking about whether it was targeting or not is useless. What we will talk about is whether that was a fumble or not. And I thought, at least from what I could see on the jumbotron, on the TVs that we had in the press box, that his knee was down.
Yeah. Seemed it. I don't know. And that wasn't the only call of the game that was confusing.
God, what was the other one? I'm trying to think of it.
I was hoping I was hoping me saying that spurned it, but I remember distinctly later in the game, actually right another kind of momentum killer.
Oh, the JRS touchdown?
Yes.
Or like not touchdown, but so
Reception on the 2.
yeah.
Or
I
whatever.
don't have as big of an issue with that because that ball's like 50 miles out of bounds.
It is, but at the same time, when you call it a completion, was there enough on that video to overturn?
Yeah, I can understand
Like,
that. Like, yes,
It'd
his
be one
feet
thing
are.
if they waved it off and then said we're going to the booth.
Yeah.
Like, sure, okay, uphold it, but
Yeah.
like, don't call that a completion and then show us what you showed us and then overturn it.
Well, see, I'm not as mad about it on that because,
No.
like, for me, I think there was actually enough to turn it over.
Yep.
Obviously, fans are going to be emotional in that moment. I think there was enough to turn it over, so that's why I'm not like over the things about that.
Right.
I think, like, he's like completely on the ground, and even though he's got both feet in, like, he's catching the ball that's out of bounds, and it's
Right.
not like he's doing an NFL tip job, where like or toe job where he's like literally tiptoeing the sideline. He's like on the ground when he catches this ball, which is very very different. So, in my opinion, that's acceptable. I don't think that was a fumble.
I don't disagree with you in any way, shape, or form. And the timing of that call changed, and it's probably hyperbole, but the timing of that call changed everything in this game.
Absolutely. And you got to give a lot of credit for Duke because it only took them 3 plays to go 61 yards on
Right.
that, and to score.
Yeah, so you go from even if it's not a targeting, you go from
It would have been 3rd and 1 if
Right.
the call stands. I mean, if like there's no targeting, but obviously no fumble,
Yeah.
it would have been 3rd and 1, or
Yeah.
it might have even been 3rd and inches.
So even in that situation, you have a drastically different play call. You have a drastically different set of momentum. That also took the wind out of, say, like, I actually during the whole thing had to take my son to the bathroom. So
Great timing, Seabass.
I saw it all. I saw it happen, and then I had to start walking down the stairs. And by the time I got back up, they still hadn't figured it out.
That's when you know it's bad.
I was like, and that was the thing in my brain. I'm like, well, if they're looking at it this long, there's no way they're overturning it. Like,
And it's unfortunate that we
they're
didn't
checking
have.
spot, they're checking
Yeah.
this, they're doing that. Like, but then they come back and overturn the whole thing. I'm like, what are you doing?
It's also unfortunate that we didn't have ACC communication with the command center like
Yeah.
we've had for some ACC games.
Hmm.
That in that situation, that would have
would've been-
extremely helped.
Yeah,
Because like yes, there's controversy over that Florida State call on whether that's a touchdown or not against Virginia.
right.
But we're not here arguing if that a catch or not. If like imagine if we're a Florida State or a Virginia
Right.
podcast, we're not arguing whether that's a catch or not, because it's clear they clearly everyone in that call in the command center and from the referee agrees on why it wasn't a catch, and you
Right.
could hear them explain their thinking about why it wasn't a catch.
Hmm.
That would have been helpful to know about. Okay, like what did they see to determine that was a fumble?
Oh yeah. Well, and that's I'm sure you've done it in the press box. I know I used to as well. Of like, we only get what we're fed when we're in the stadium.
Yeah.
We don't get the benefit of replay or them talking to some additional ref or someone that's
Mhm.
seeing what's going on. And I was like doing the standard, like, furtively texting everyone I knew of
Yeah.
like, hey, are you watching this on TV? Okay, what are they saying?
Yeah, I'm not sure like if Westerham and Steve Adazio or what they were saying about it, or if they like brought in a rules
Oh, yeah.
official to say about it. Because I'm just also looking at what they're providing us on the program feed for ACC Network as
Yep.
well.
Yeah, and even then, you're not getting any audio. You're just
Yeah,
getting the
exactly.
video up in the corner. So either way, I mean, at this point, that call is what it is. It
Yeah.
happened, and the game had to move on from there. But that it was almost like that momentum shift and that the turnover on top of them capitalizing immediately when the Orange was kind of finding something
hmm
just took the wind out of whatever. And this is something that hasn't happened in the Fran Brown era in a game that didn't involve Pittsburgh. It was like the wind just left the building.
It has happened one other time in the Fran Brown era, and that was when Alec Ayamayor converted on 4th and 9.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we all like to forget that game happened.
I was sitting in the same spot I was for this one watching it. And it's still, yep. I'm like, oh,
Maybe that's the game that Fran realized, hey, man-to-man is better than zone.
hey, and it's worked outside of,
The first
think-
quarter when their slot receivers were like, I'm going to run past every linebacker.
yeah. Yep. So,
Mhm.
and that,
Poor Antoine
do have
Delorier
to-
on that first series. He's
yeah.
like he's running for his life against one
Yep.
of the fastest guys on their team.
Oh, that was one of those where, again, Duke fan sitting next to me. So I was like
Mhm.
talking to him about it. He's like, yep, nope, that wasn't going to happen. There was no, he's just SOL on that.
Yeah. So obviously you talk about the momentum shifts, and it goes down to something that I think both coaches talked about in their press conferences. And Steve, you've probably heard this term to death as a former football player, and other fans may not be as familiar with it, but you may have heard it now and then, where Duke played complementary football and Syracuse did not play complementary football. Because what do you do against a turnover like that if you're Duke? You want to score, and they certainly scored.
100%.
Going to the third quarter, Syracuse gets 2 massive stops,
Yep.
3 and outing Duke against a offense that looked like it had so much momentum. That defense 3 and outs them twice.
Yep.
And the first time, Cook fumbles. Second time, Syracuse can't capitalize, and I think they went 3 and out as well.
It was either 3 and out or like a quick first down and then 3
Yeah.
and out. But yeah, very, very non-efficient drives, nothing moving forward.
Yeah.
Nothing to keep that momentum. And
Syracuse didn't support their team when they needed to, when they
Right.
made the plays, and Duke did.
I mean, as is standard, Jack Stonehouse is the best player on this team.
Yeah.
However, like the offense, I don't know. Now that you're saying that about complementary football, it's like every time that the defense needed the offense to do something, they didn't, and every time the defense really like had forced a quick 3 and out, and okay, if the offense comes back on, whatever, we're not gassed. The offense would drive, and it's like, okay, can we work things around so that our guys are all on the same page?
Yeah.
So it may have been, it might have just been a culmination of a lot of weird timing and things bouncing the wrong way and whatever. But I don't know.
Do we talk about pass rushing now?
What's that?
Fantastic question. It's the lowest pass rushing team grade on PFF this year at a 56.7.
Yeah, it wasn't great. The thing is, how do you scheme at being so effective against Clemson? And they were, whether or not they got to him, they were making Klubnik make decisions. And this week they were not doing that.
There's a lot of flipping and flopping that happens in the Brown era, that's like, oh, it's a reverse of what happened in previous Syracuse regimes.
Right.
Like this year, it's, hey, you've got great cover guys. Good luck pass rushing.
Yeah.
Where in previous years, under like Tony White and other previous defenses, it's like, hey, you've got great pass rushers. Good luck stopping a cold in the pass game.
Yeah. Yep. No hope.
So like, it's funny how those roles got reversed.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is an absolute shame.
It is actually, I mean, now that you think about it, like I almost prefer that, because if you can't cover, then there's almost no chance. If you can cover, then you have some inkling of hope. But that defense has to do a lot of bending, not breaking.
So, in the pass rush,
Uh-oh.
Syracuse had 4 non-cornerback starters above the Mendoza line.
That's not great.
Four starters in general above the Mendoza line. The highest of which was a 63.4.
It's not great when that 63.4 is also a true freshman.
Yes, and a middle linebacker.
He is a very good true freshman.
He is.
And a very good middle linebacker.
So after his dominant
We're talking about
performance-
Antoine Delorier, who, for those who don't know.
Oh yeah, sorry. We've talked about him a couple times this podcast. If you can't imagine, he is a good football player. Speaking of good football players that had a bad game, Jamie Tremble, after his coming out party last week, 53.6, lowest on the team for pass rush.
Now,
when
to be
that's
fair,
kind of his thing.
he was only tasked with 7 of those.
True. But at the same time, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th highest on the team.
Yeah.
So David Reese had the most straight up pass rush opportunities at 23 for a 61.2 grade. And Jaquez is the only other person over 20 with a 57.5. As you can imagine, all of them were, judging by the grades, somewhat serviceable, and that's about the best I can say about the pass rush.
I mean, and what I will say is 53.6 isn't the worst grade in the world either.
No, we just talked about our offensive lineman with an 18.
Yeah, that's kind of bad.
Yeah.
And
So-
again, we'll caveat that Pringle didn't play that
Right.
much either.
7. I think he had 7 snaps or 10 snaps as a pass blocker.
Yeah.
Either way, not great. But in general, what do they do to improve this?
I'm looking at the 29.5 tackling grade from Jaquez, the 37.9 tackling grade from Cornell Perry, the 49.5 tackling grade from Raheem Long. You had some great tackling from other players. Those guys play important roles.
Yeah, and actually it's the second highest tackling grade we've had all year. But it seems like it was a lot of breakdown at certain positions and certain points.
Yeah.
Jaquez being a huge one. Like, if he was that bad on the tackle with 21 pass rushes and 20 rush defenses, like,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
So is that something that that teams will target moving forward, and or will Erob, scheme around that or do something to improve that? That could have been a matchup issue that Duke found and took advantage of.
And to be fair, Duke's blocking grades are silly. Their starting right tackle, Brian Parker, graded out at an 88.2 and a run block grade of 88.1.
Huh.
Yeah.
You can do that?
Yeah. Their starting left guard had an 84.1 pass blocking grade. Their starting right guard had an 86.2 pass blocking grade.
Huh. Okay.
Steve has contemplated numbers he's never heard of his life when it comes to blocking.
Yeah. Huh. Sorry.
Their
I-
backup left guard had an 81.1 pass block rate in 11 snaps.
Can we get some of that?
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it would. On the flip side, I did just pull up, actually unintentionally, but I pulled up Collins's passing chart.
Ooh, I would love to see this as well. While you're looking at this, continue.
So if I could, nope, wrong podcast. I can't do that. I was about to hit my. I have a Stream Deck set up for the other pod.
Ah,
I
that's
can just
nice.
hit the two-player screen share or two-person screen share. Nope, can't do that. So, 9 of 10 mid-range over the middle, 6 of 6 outside left, 1 of 1 outside right. Like that, 0 to 10 yards, he was locked in, doing whatever he needed to do. 10 to 20 yards, still confident over the middle, still confident in general. And then deep balls, didn't even attempt over the middle. And 0 for 2 with a pick outside left, 0 for 2 with a pick outside right, over 20 yards. So
Like, how
for
much does
one-
that first interception shell shock his confidence?
Yeah, that's something that you kind of need to. And the thing is, he got hit as he was throwing. That's the only reason that ball is underthrown.
This is true, yes.
If that ball is thrown at pace, how he was throwing it to that receiver in stride, there's a good chance that is 6. And the guy gets the backside of his arm as he's run like through, or no, he hit. It was the left tackle missed the block there. He ended up taking something as he was coming through, and it just screws with his motion enough. You could see it come out fine, but short, and not remotely where he needed it to be. And there were definitely later on were a couple where you could see him getting gun shy at folks trying to jump routes or whatnot. It definitely had an effect.
There were also quite a few Clemson problems of guy puts hand up at LLS and
Yes.
see a play.
Yeah, just well, and that was I told the guy sitting next to me, I was like, well, last week there was a point where they Clemson didn't even pass rush. They just put their arms up, and it caused more problems than it should have.
Yeah.
Now, that said, watching Ricky physically and how he throws, the ability to change his motion, like everything wasn't the stock, standard throw. Like he was able to vary things, which should help in that situation. I don't know. This whole game is so weird, and with only one game as a sample size, it's very tough to take anything on the. I've always lived by the correlation does not equal causation, concept.
And it's tough because maybe the only thing that you could probably really say is that you hope that the defense is a little bit better. But how much is that the momentum that the offense gives you as well?
Right.
And especially on the offensive side, like any team will tell you, your starting quarterback goes down. It's like you're playing with a completely different team, no matter how much of the personnel stays the same.
Yeah, literally everybody else stayed the same, and it looked like a very different team. So,
Like, we are essentially, we said this at the beginning of the podcast. We're talking about the Tennessee game again.
Yeah.
We're talking like it's a Tennessee game again because of how new the quarterback is.
Yep.
And how, like Steve was, yes, Steve had a couple more weeks of being officially the starter. But you could imagine that maybe there were even plans to make him the starter even before that, based on maybe what they saw quickly and just not revealing to the media and whatnot.
right.
I mean, yeah, it's that's why I'm targeting my pit game to fully comprehend and understand
Right.
what the implications of this offense is now.
So, again, the Collins chart.
Mhm.
when kept clean,
Yes, I saw this.
passing 86.7. Even when blitzed, 77 point something that my screen cut off, but
77.8.
and like the only time was when he was truly under pressure, and that was still a 62.8. Like that's still serviceable.
Yeah,
Not great on the play action, but everything else.
but you
looked
only ran 3 of them.
right. So inherently, by not great at the play action, we know that the coaches also realize not great at the play action. And yeah, I mean, outside of deep balls, he looked good. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what a lot of these internet voices are seeing or saying. Because I watched a game where I saw a quarterback come into a situation where he gained the starting role and kind of did what he was given. Like, there's not... What more could Ricky Collins have done during this game?
Told Duke to stop tackling.
Fair.
Because, like, come down to it. Couple penalties, yes, but Duke had significantly more. Why does Duke win this game?
Oh.
It's the tackling.
Yeah, 100%. Also, for the record, is there a NCAA record for offensive pass
I was
interferences
gonna
called in a
say.
single game?
I counted 3.
There were at least... Duke had 3 alone,
Yeah,
and then we had 1.
yeah.
So there were at least 4 offensive pass interferences and minimum 2 defensive pass interferences that were called.
A lot of those were because of picks by the receiver not being targeted.
Yeah. So that was that whole situation was quite strange.
Duke had 2 on one drive.
Yeah. So it was a weird game.
Yeah,
That's
Duke,
all I can say.
It's Duke tackling and Duke playing complementary football. That's what gets them the win.
Yeah, 100%.
Because, I mean, Kevin wrote about it on the website as well. I mean, I just looked at the headline, but I haven't read the full article. But what I can tell is that he said, Orange failed to capitalize on momentum or something like that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Orange failed to follow up on momentum. They didn't play the complementary football that Duke did. Duke capitalized on the momentum. Syracuse didn't.
100%.
It's a part of the reason also why you hear Fran apologizing. Because complementary football, a lot of that falls on the coaches as well.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, and I guess that's part of why I very much enjoy this stuff, because I feel like I didn't watch the postgame presser, but I got a hunch Fran put some of it on his guys too. Of like, hey, we should have prepared them better. Hey, we should have had a better game plan.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. Overall, it was a full team letdown that led to this, but I also don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be.
No, it's the same thing as the Tennessee game.
Yeah. So,
Like we have to talk about the people calling for Ricky to immediately get called, like switch out, and for Luke Carney to come in.
Yeah.
Like, guys, first of all, we called for Steve to leave the game after the third quarter against UConn, and look what happened.
Yeah.
Okay? And we'll take the blame for that. We talked about it as well. We wanted to see that as well. And Fran stuck with it, and look what happened.
Yep.
So now we should know that Fran is not going to switch off his guys.
Right.
Like, it has to be catastrophically bad for him to switch off his starting quarterback. And guess what? We saw it catastrophically bad. Pitt last year. And he still didn't switch off his quarterback.
Yep.
So what makes you think anything else is going to be different?
Absolutely nothing.
And if you're calling for Luke Carney, you're basically waving the white flag and saying this Collins experiment didn't work out. It's the first game of him starting since high school.
I feel it's going to sound really condescending, but I feel like our entire fan base has the memory of a goldfish. It's been a month and change since we were in the same situation, listening to the same people talk about the same things. Actually, no, it hasn't been a month and change. It's literally been a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pull it together and think rationally about something instead of like wearing your heart on your sleeve for like I get fan comes from fanatic. However, like use your head. This is the first game the kid started. The offense, the coaching staff has to figure out what's going on for him. We literally just watch it take a 3-game progression for him to do that, or for them to do that with Angeli. Well, let's trust in the system a little more. Like you said, if Pitt could be that litmus test. Next week is a wash. Like if it looks this bad, then maybe there's more talk. But Pitt is that litmus test. If we can make it to that point and there's marked improvement and things look better, then hey, why are we still talking about it?
Well, I'm going to ESPN.com.
Oh yeah, for what?
Yes, and I'm going to click on standings, and I'm going to click on ACC, and I'm going to see that North Carolina is at 2-2.
And 0-2 in the ACC, right?
Not played a conference game yet.
Oh, they played their entire. Oh,
Yeah. So they had a bye this week, I think. Yes. And then they play Clemson next week. That might be also your litmus test as well.
yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. If
Because there are 2 wins. They beat Charlotte 20-3.
sure.
You should beat Charlotte by more.
Yeah.
And you beat Richmond 41-6. Great. That's an FCS team. You should beat them 41-6. You lose to TCU horrifically badly on national television. And then you lose to UCF 34-9. That's also your litmus test.
That's not great.
Let's scroll down to the Pitt Panthers. Also 2-2. You beat Duquesne. Great. You beat Central Michigan. Great. You lose the backyard brawl and to Louisville by 1 score.
Yeah.
That's not a bad test.
No, I'd say in general, that's if you gave me those 2 resumes head to head, with no name on them, it's like, well, one of them is a significantly better team than the other. So I don't know what that means for us hosting Pitt, but
I mean, especially for Pitt, what you have to take advantage of is the week prior to playing Syracuse in the Dome, they're in Tallahassee.
that should be fun.
So that's something
road.
you should take advantage of.
Yeah.
And yes,
Yeah.
Florida State loses. Do you expect Florida State to really lose to Virginia 9 times out of 10?
No.
So you expect Virginia to bounce back. I mean, well, you expect Virginia to keep going. You expect Florida State to bounce back.
Right.
So you've got your targets. Next week against SMU should not be another burn the house down game.
No, it's a game that we penciled in at the beginning of the year.
Like, there's not that many changes on that team from their CFP team. They still have the same quarterback as well.
Yeah.
Like, did he look great against Penn State? No. But unless you're Oregon, you don't look great in Happy Valley most times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it took Oregon 2 overtimes for that.
Right. So,
Calm down, everyone, please.
yeah. Somebody take a breath.
It's not like we're going into year 9 of Babers or year 3 of a 3-win Scott Schaefer season.
Don't remind me.
Well,
We all have those
history is a
scars.
reason why we teach it.
Trust me, I'm not forgetting those years.
I
For
mean,
better, or
again,
mostly for worse.
remember, those are essentially my puberty years of Syracuse football, my developmental years.
Yeah. Those were your,
Although I guess you could say, like, in terms of a lifespan, these are my puberty years.
yeah, there
Since
you go.
this is my 11th year now of like really paying attention to Syracuse football.
Did we hit the Steve is old at
We finally did, yeah. I
55?
mean, we don't have Andy here to support me, even though Andy is slowly approaching Andy is old material.
Yep. Andy's firmly middle aged in his
Mhm.
Syracuse career.
Next year's going to be scary for me.
Oh yeah.
The 3 appears in the beginning of my age.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party. Well,
Yep,
I mean,
yep, yep,
I'm,
yep, yep.
I'm at the 4, so we are.
Cheers to that. You know what also a lot of this entire time means? That you stay, like if a lot of time like this has passed, and you stay as a head coach, you're a pretty good head coach.
Yeah.
It might not be this year, but Ian McIntyre is a pretty good head coach.
That he is. And dare I say the best coach we've had on the Hill in the Orange Soccer program?
Definitely. I mean, you brought the program its first national championship a couple of years ago, and McIntyre celebrated, or I shouldn't say celebrated, the soccer team and the program celebrated McIntyre winning his 142nd game as head of the program, and that makes him the winningest head coach in men's soccer program history. A 3-0 win over Colgate last week.
Well deserved. And they followed it up with a 2-0 win over Cal.
Is Cal good?
I don't know.
Is Cal back? Is Cal back into
Cal
this?
is not back in this, judging by that scoreline, but yeah, Orange Soccer is 4-4-2 on the year, 1-2-0 in conference play. So I don't know what to make of any of what's going on.
I will say that there have been like a couple questionable non-conference results.
The
Namely,
draw against New Haven.
draw against New Haven, 1-0 loss against Duquesne.
Yeah.
That Duquesne game, that they could not get anything going. I remember watching that. And then their 2 losses in conference play are both to ranked teams.
Right. So, yeah, doesn't look like Cal is. I mean, it's Cal.
Yeah.
Yeah, BC, SMU, Pitt's always good, whether or not they're ranked. And then Cornell, UNC.
I've seen this Cornell team. That Cornell team's good, especially
Yeah.
defensively.
So it's not going to be a cakewalk for the Orange getting into the postseason, but you know, Mac has done stranger things.
Significantly so. Also, as we're doing our around the Syracuse wrap up, field hockey's 8-2,
Really? Okay.
which is very, very cool.
Yeah.
Um,
On the
they're-
10th
they're-
anniversary of the title, right?
Indeed, they retired Alyssa Manley's jersey at Odd Friday, which was a televised game on ACC Network.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was also a celebration of that title. And they beat number 7 Duke 1-0 in that game. That was a top 10 matchup. Syracuse at 6, Duke at 7.
Nice.
They followed that up with a comeback win against Penn State. It was 20 in the country, and so their only losses are to a overtime loss against Wake Forest and a loss against number 3 Virginia.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
so
kind
field
of,
hockey. Field hockey looks good.
Yeah, I was going to say that kind of going to sound weird, but I think that has that kind of same feel as, you know, women's lacrosse, men's lacrosse, where it's like the only remote losses you have are against good teams.
Good teams. Hmm.
So yeah.
And finally, to like really, really wrap it up, how do you enjoy 9 o'clock basketball games?
Depends on when they are, because I literally canceled my season tickets because of a 9 o'clock game in February against Wake Forest.
What about a 9 o'clock December game against St. Joseph's?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
so
a
unfortunately,
thing.
unfortunately, St. Joseph's head coach, for those who don't know the timeline, I believe, leaves the team and gets hired by the Knicks as an assistant, I
Yep.
believe. So St. Joseph pulls out of the Las Vegas event because of that. That Syracuse was supposed to play St. Joe's at, and so they get it moved to the Dome, and will play December 11th at 9 p.m.
Well then. Huh. More basketball. Yeah, we're gonna be talking basketball soon, but I'm
Yeah, it's fast approaching. October is only a couple of days away.
that's frightening also. So
That is frightening. Um, I mean, interesting enough, like for one of the first times in like a while that I can remember, Syracuse will play one of its exhibitions not at the Dome.
oh, where at?
They're playing it at KeyBank.
Oh,
And for those who aren't in Syracuse or are in the New York area who don't know what that is, that's KeyBank Center in Buffalo.
so getting a little of that Western New York love out there.
Yeah, they will. If you couldn't tell, they are going to play Buffalo in
Right.
that exhibition, to
Yep.
everyone's shock and surprise.
Well, you had two options. It was Buffalo or Niagara. So
And it's Buffalo.
Yep.
So they'll play Buffalo in an exhibition at the KeyBank Center, the home of the Sabres and the NLL Buffalo Bandits. Let's go National Lacrosse League box
There you
lacrosse.
go.
So much fun. And they will also play Pace in their exhibition as one of their D2 schools that they're allowed to play at home for an exhibition.
nice. Well, that should be
Indeed.
good.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Basketball's coming up.
Well, before we get too depressed that the season's changing again, do we got anything else?
I'm trying to scroll through this and see if there is anything else. It is a lot of football and being
Oh,
like,
yeah. So, no, in general, if we don't come up with anything else, please check us out on YouTube or your podcatcher of choice. Feel free to like, subscribe, leave a review. It helps us expand the Ottoman Empire and helps the algorithm find our happy, fun videos that are always so exciting when it comes to weeks like this. So, yeah,
we'll return next week on hopefully Sunday at hopefully 8 o'clock ish, and hopefully with an indie regular that is available who will drop out of the recording at one point.
oh, absolutely. We can't have them for a full recording.
No, not ever. Until that week, though, go Orange.
Go Orange.